pulling money out of the system that would hold down on economic growth. Then again, technically I would agree that by putting more money into the system, by cutting taxes, that should mean more economic growth, but it hasn't happened immediately each time we've had a major tax cut.
No, for instance, under George Bush, he passed a tax cut and they tried to phase it in. And the first phase had no effect. The Congress came back and said, okay, we're accelerating it. We're putting the whole tax cut into effect right now, and the economy started booming. And Jamie, under Bill Clinton, I'm not trying to argue the point, but this needs to be brought up as well. Lightning struck while Bill Clinton was in office.
Right.
It struck in the form of something called the dot-com revolution.
Yes, you are absolutely correct. But I would also say, let's go back to 1981, and the Reagan tax decrease, the Reagan tax cuts were passed, and the next year we were in a big recession. I'm not saying they're linked, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that to me, I've learned two very important lessons close up with the Congress about economic growth and taxes that to me don't make sense. Reagan cut taxes and the economy went into a recession soon after. I'm not saying it's linked.
Yeah.
Clinton raised taxes and the economy turned up soon after. I'm not saying they're linked. It just shows again to me that when each side tells me that something is going to happen because of a terrible bad policy on the other side, that it has not always happened that way, and it makes me wonder as to why it has not happened.
Well, the last time we balanced the budget was when?
Totally by accident during the Clinton administration.
Well, it was the accident of the dot-com revolution.
Well, but it was also a combination of things. It was the fact that we had the dot-com boom, more tax money rolled in. Bob Dole always called it the Bush recovery after the first George Bush was defeated. And then we also had the fact that there were spending caps put in place by the Republican Congress and accepted by Bill Clinton. And at the time, for example, the Treasury Department started retiring debt rather than basically let the Congress spend the money.
Boy, it's going to be a long time before we do that again, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's the problem, really, that I think that everybody needs to understand is that even under, let's just say that the Republicans had won everything and they were able to do as they pleased right now, they would not be erasing the budget deficit anytime soon under their plans. The Democrats, obviously, there's no balance in theirs either anytime soon. It's just two different ways, basically, to spend more money, except the Republicans would probably spend less in the end. They just spend it on different things.
The goal right now should be to not do anything that can jeopardize economic growth.
Sure.
Because it is economic growth that is going to bring us out of this.
But again, I will go back to 93, and the Republicans told us, I covered it over and over again, if you raise taxes, you will ruin what threads there are of an economic recovery. And then the recovery happened. Now, yes, you're right, lightning struck, but the recovery happened. And that's why I'm always reluctant to buy into everybody's study, because everybody always has a different study about what could happen and what's not going to happen anymore. And, look, after when we got to the Bush tax cuts, while they were only 10 years in length, a lot of people argued they didn't provide for constant economic growth afterward, because certainly we have had ups and downs since the 2001 and 2003 tax cuts were approved.
Yeah.
I don't know what the answer is. This to me, the economic cycle, sometimes I just wonder if it almost doesn't matter sometimes what the Congress does. That it's a larger force that's going to push the economy one way or the other.
There's a good thought that the economy is, as long as it is a free market economy, is so massive that it can go plowing right through congressional roadblocks.
I mean, let's look at the stimulus. I mean, we were told that if you passed the stimulus, that it would create new economic growth. And now studies have shown that it did create whatever you want